And we should be seeing a notice that we're recording. And I'm just going to post this to our Facebook for the folks that pay attention there. Okay. Okay, 5:33. There's our Minnesota Minute, I imagine. Welcome, folks, to today's October PTO meeting for Bancroft. I'm glad you can make it. And for the folks who are going to be watching this in the recording, thank you for staying engaged and paying attention. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the slide deck. All right. How does that look to folks? Is there a big splotch in the middle of the screen somewhere? Or does it look okay? Thumbs up if it's all right.
There's some splotches.
There's some splotches yet. I really should just bring my work computer home rather than dealing with my home computer. All right. Anyway, I do want to point out this is a nice little thing at the lobby in the cafeteria of our school. I don't know. This was a couple of weeks ago that I snapped this photo, Diego, and I thought it was kind of great. I'm just sharing it here for folks, for the people that whose kids bus home or they don't get to make it to the cafeteria often. How often does that board get updated or added to?
It used to be a whole lot more often. I think that's been up since the spring when students returned in person.
Oh,
okay. Well, I guess not. It's been up since like, I don't know, towards the end of the school year last year. So it has not been updated since May, June, but it is lovely. It is really nice.
Yes. Yeah. No, well, it goes to show I'm in and out of that building, yet I must never look left. I must always look when I go out the door. So I'm just pointing this out for folks, and yeah, if it gets updated, I'll snap another pic. But this is kind of a nice little community thing. All right, so why don't we just do? I know we didn't do this last time. For the folks who are online, let's just do a quick round of introductions of who's online. And again, my name is Paul. I'm PTO president. So welcome. I've got a second grader, and who would like to go next? Diego, why don't you just go next, since you're the top of my screen here.
Absolutely. My name is Diego DePaz, and I'm the principal here at Bancroft. And I just want to say a warm welcome to everyone who's able to join us tonight.
Great. I got Robin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Robin Anderson. I have a third grader and a first grader.
Great. And then Brianna.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brianna. I'm sorry, I just took a bite of something, of course. I'm Brianna Nichols. I'm the assistant principal at Bancroft.
Great, thank you. Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin Karen. I'm the PTO treasurer. I have a third grader.
Great, thank you. Michelle.
Hey, I'm Michelle Lagrouse. I do communications for the PTO, and I have a first grader. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Melanie. Hi, Melanie. Your microphone might be a little wonky. You sound like a chipmunk that's cutting in and out of electronica rave. Well, but welcome, and you can certainly troubleshoot that a little bit, but yeah, welcome. I think we heard a little bit there. Someone, Sufra 001.
It's me, Sue Francis.
Oh, Sue.
Everybody. Sorry, I should change that.
It's okay. It's okay. Tess Benson.
Hi, I don't know if you can see me. I don't know if I can see me. Hi, I'm Tess. I have a second grader and a fourth grader, and I've met quite a few of you, and thank you all for my children still wanting to go to school every day.
Great. TK.
That's me, Tana. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yep, gotcha.
I was trying to pair my microphone. I have a second grader in Ms. Zimmerman's class.
Great, thank you. I'm just going through the list. Whenever someone unmutes, my list gets all, we got to work on Zoom, work on that feature. But I think that's everyone that's in right now. So thank you. I would like to introduce Bob Selden with the Masons of Minnesota Cataract Lodge #2. Bob is going to tell us a little bit about, frankly, I was really hoping to just get a good recording of why the Masons support our school so well. And I think we really appreciate the support they give. The donations that they provide go to our field trips. And I know our students are looking forward to as much engagement and activity as they can manage. So I know the funds will be well used this year. Bob, I'm not going to say much more than that, but welcome to our meeting. And we're looking forward to hearing a little bit of the story so that we can sort of well document it. And just so you know, about 60% of our school community changed because of the redistricting or the rezoning that the district did. And so we have a lot of folks in our community now who don't know this story. So this is why I'm excited for getting a good recording of it. Thank you for being here.
It is good to be here. I wish we could be meeting in person, but Cataract Lodge started with Bancroft School over 15 years ago when you had an after-school reading program, and we were involved with that. We had several of our lodge members that came down to the school after school and either read to or sat and listened to students reading and just helping them along wherever they might have had trouble. That then progressed into, I did some math tutoring for some 5th graders, and some other students did some other tutoring for kids. And then that kind of went away for a while. You became an IB school, and of course then the whole program went away. But in the meantime, probably as much as 10 years ago, we came to the fact that many students were not able to go on some of the field trips, whether it be they just couldn't afford the cost of the field trip, there may have been entrance fee to wherever you were going, or they may not have been able to afford the cost for the box lunch that was being provided. So we decided to assist the school, and that means so all students, unless it's those that didn't get their homework done or were kind of rowdy in class and couldn't go for that reason. But we wanted to make sure all students were capable of going to all the field trips for the school. So that's where we came up with the idea of funding that through the PTO.
Great. No, thank you for that background. I appreciate it. And I've only been with the school for 3 years, but of course, last year technically doesn't count for anybody. And so I would love if anyone else, I know Justin, you've been here a year longer than I have, and you're involved in PTO longer than I have, or even Diego or Brianna. Just real quickly, the impact of that donation on our students. Can anyone think of other examples of some of the field trips that were done by some of the other grades? I know my son did an apple orchard one in kindergarten that he still talks about now. That was funded by that fund. Does anyone else have any examples of that?
I might turn it over to Sue, because I know she's the gatekeeper of all of the educational trips that we go on. And I also just want to thank Bob and the Cataract Lodge too for their gracious and generous donation every single year. And we do work with all of the grade levels to make sure that we're having some sort of educational experience outside of our school walls for each unit of inquiry. And so I'll let Sue talk a little bit more about that piece. And there's another piece I want to add too about the Books for Bikes program that the Lodge sponsors also.
Yes, I echo Mr. DePaz's gratitude on behalf of our whole school to the Masonic Lodge, Bob, and all of you for supporting these field trips and these field experiences. We use that money every year to support field trips outside of the school, guests inside of the school, residencies, artisan residencies. And then, you know, with COVID, we've even figured out how to do virtual field trips when we can. And we've really tried to keep that learning as experiential as possible. And that donation makes that happen for us. We have been able to go on so many amazing field trips, and each grade level has some special ones that they look forward to every year. And it really keeps we can stretch that money out as far as we can so that we can go on a few. Every grade level goes on a few. And it's something the kids look very forward to. And we have people come in and visit with us, and we have guests. We have field trips come into the building. Gibbs Farm has a couple amazing ones that we do. And we also go out. We go to the Apple Orchard, the Science Museum, Snapology, the Works. Fifth graders, part of it goes to help the fifth graders go to camp. There's just so many great things. Starbase has been some. And the cost of transportation in the past has been really expensive. And so having that kind of funding helps us be able to offset some of the cost of the transportation, because we can get a lot of subsidies and grants and things for admissions and tickets, but we can't necessarily get that for our transportation. So I cannot thank you enough. We look forward to it every year. Our kids look forward to it. In fifth grade, our fifth graders who volunteer to speak for promotion often will go back to going to BizTown or going to see a play, or those are the things that they draw on, those outside of the school day or the usual school experience that they remember. So thank you so much.
Well, one of the things that I enjoy most about it is at the end of the year, we have students come into the lodge and talk about the field trips that go on. And yeah, they're pretty excited about it. So for those that do not know, and several of you are new, the lodge puts up, this year again, it's $6,000. And then we go to Minnesota Masonic Charities to match that. So you get a total of $12,000 for this effort. So we're glad to do it.
Yes, thank you very much. That's a tremendous amount, and Sue has done a great job of sort of summarizing its impact. We appreciate it. PTO gets to be the white hats in dispersing the funds, but I think it's good for folks to really know where the source of that kindness comes from. So I just want to make sure that that's clear and apparent and transparent. So thank you very much for that. And Diego, you mentioned that you had something that you wanted to add.
Yeah, and so, you know, the lodge also sponsors our Books for Bikes program. And so it's something that we do for our fifth graders every year. And we promote it at the end of fourth grade. And Bob can probably speak a little bit to it too, but the students have to read, I think it's 20 books, you know, throughout the year of fifth grade, and write some book reports and just responses to the books that they've read. And if they do that, then the teachers nominate them for a free bike. And so we've given away from 12 bikes. I think last year it was bikes and scooters. I think there was like 24 or 25 that were given away, maybe even more. But it's just great to see the kids kind of ride off on their new bikes too. And the lodge members come and put them together and have them shipped here to Bancroft. And then the kiddos can pick out bikes at the end of the school year. So it's just another great partnership and great opportunity to provide our students with, you know, a bike or a scooter to enjoy that independence and freedom too that comes with being 11 and 12 and getting a brand new bicycle.
Yeah, last year I think it was 35 bikes and 7 scooters. So it was the biggest number we've ever done, but we're glad to do it. I think the kids really get the best out of that. And Lisa's idea of doing some with scooters, that was the kids' option to do that. It wasn't our option or the school's option. She gave the option to the kids, and some of them chose scooters instead of the bikes. So I thank Lisa for all she does.
Yeah, no, so I think it's another great thing that the lodge does for us. And again, you know, connecting the literacy piece and the learning and reading piece to getting a free bike as an incentive. And so I think that's, again, thank you for doing that for us and for our students here at Bancroft.
I know it was originally I think it was originally set up as like 25 books, but that was kind of reestablished. Now, if a kid decides to read War and Peace, that's probably the only book that he's going to read. So it basically works out to maybe the number of pages in a book so some students may only read 15 books. Some students may read 25 books in order to get the whole spectrum. So it was a fair thing to be put down. The school kind of did that to make it fair for all the students, not just a flat number of books, but looking at maybe pages read.
Yeah. So thank you again.
Great. Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate all the sharing that's going on here. I also just want to call out in the chat that Michelle mentioned that her kiddo did a virtual field trip last year that sparked an interest in photography. Now she's getting her first camera. So there's a development there, and I'm sure there are many more stories like that. So thank you. And just for the sake of social media, I'd like to do a quick screen grab of the folks who have their video cameras turned on. So if you'd like to be in a quick picture that we'll just post to Facebook to sort of acknowledge this, I'm going to do a quick screen grab. So turn on your video camera. And I'm going to give you the count of, we're going to go 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, smiling at your camera. Great. So I got that. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate the visit. We appreciate the info and just the opportunity to share back to you. I actually didn't know that students got to report back to the lodge at the end of the year. And one of the things I'm looking forward to doing this year is gathering some narratives, some stories, and sharing that with your group at the end of the year, just something to communicate out of specific stories. So you're going to have a little bit more to look forward to in addition to the in-person reports that students give. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I thank you all, and I'll let you go on with your meeting, and I'll check out. Thank you.
All right. Great. All right, that was a great opportunity. I appreciate everyone sharing there. I am now sharing my screen. Robin, I'm seeing you, so thumbs up if you see my screen. Great, good. Today, this is a late add to the agenda, but I just wanted to bring it up. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day, and it's our first one. Or I guess, actually, no, it's not already our first one, but it's the first one that's being acknowledged. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to sort of say we as an organization, at least the PTO as an organization, we don't have a land acknowledgement. I've been through the process with others and some of the other groups I've been in, and just the idea of crafting one, and it's very much a community-driven thing, and I wanted to just sort of for today get this on our table. The idea of perhaps Bancroft PTO crafting one for ourselves to sort of be an acknowledgement, to sort of celebrate the history. As we know, this history, there is a grim part to it, but land acknowledgements, at least as I understand it, and as it's been done in my experience, it's not meant to really be a grim reminder so much as it is a celebration and a way to represent moving forward. How does it contribute to the experiences of the Indigenous peoples in our community, and how does make us sort of understand the diversity that brings us together? So I did want to just bring this on the table. I just part of the first part of creating a land acknowledgement is doing some research and then talking with folks. And so what I wanted to lay on the table here before we get going was that A, we don't have one, and B, if there are any parents or volunteers or staff who are interested in sort of forming a group of our own to sort of look at what we can do in regards to land acknowledgement, and opening this up for discussion to folks.
Yes.
Is that you, Justin? I think you're, yeah, okay. There was a lag on the camera, but yes, yes is a good. Okay, so are there any other yeses? This certainly could be the kind of thing that is put to a vote. I really wasn't wanting to do it in that way. I was really just trying to see, put it out on the table and see if there are any takers to put the work in. And this is something that we can certainly, it's not just meant to be a discussion just for today, just because it happens to be. Indigenous Peoples Day, but it is the kind of direction that we could sort of move forward in and see if there are other parents who would like to be involved, particularly as it matches up this. The effort in learning about this kind of matches up with our family cultural night effort, because it's the same kind of effort, the putting in the time, putting in the research, learning about something outside of ourselves, and then how do we internalize it, and then after it's been internalized, how do we share it out in a way that's celebratory, right? So that is just kind of where that is, but I appreciate that. Yes. Any other comments before we move forward?
I think this is a fantastic idea. Although I would cede, I'm certainly happy to help, but I would like to cede the work to people who I don't know what I'm doing. So it'd be nice to, to maybe throw it out there to a larger group too, to see if people who know what they're doing would want to work on it. But I think this is a fantastic idea.
Yep, that's absolutely a fair statement. Thank you, Michelle. And yes, I mean the idea truly is those with expertise and those with background together with those who have neither, and then what do we produce as a group, right? Okay.
I'll just say, sorry. I like the idea, Michelle, as well as including others. I'm wondering as well if we could figure out how to be also inclusive of our Native American community in creating it. And maybe that would be a way to, I don't know, just to ensure that we're hearing all voices, and if we're honoring, I guess, Native American land, that maybe there would be some really important pieces there too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that would be an integral part to the effort. And seeing as we have a student population and we have a community surrounding us, yeah, I think there certainly are folks who can reach out to, and who I hope would want to be involved with our effort. Great, thank you for that, Brianna. All right, moving forward, we're going to go through just some quick board updates. Justin, the floor is yours. I linked in this sheet the spreadsheet. I don't know if we necessarily need to go. Well, I want to just open this. I've got the link, but I think the biggest change, Justin, if you'd like to talk about that. Do you see my screen still? All right.
Yep.
So Justin's floor is yours. So you got anything?
Yep, great. Yeah, it's basically last month there wasn't really a whole lot going on. We had the fall plant sale, so we took in about $730 for that. So the lion's share, of course, for this month's revenue came again from Bob and Masonic Lodge. So yeah, we appreciate that. And so the net change over after expenses for something that I just wrote a check for today, actually, we are 12,000, almost exactly up for the month.
Great. Great, thank you. And so then if I can be smarter than my computer and get back to the slide deck, were there any questions regarding that? Okay, seeing none. And then moving forward, we have, we have a, I would like to just take to council here, Diego, if you wouldn't mind just sort of queuing up what we're about to vote on here, but Diego came to us with an email asking for PTO to fund the faculty and staff lunch that occurs on Wednesday of conferences, which from a board perspective, we're all in support of, and we just wanted to take that to a meeting vote. And so Diego, did you have any comments you want to add to that before you just put it to a vote for those in attendance?
I don't necessarily have any comments about it. The request was to show some support for our teachers and educators who are going to be here on the conference days and providing some sort of lunch. I know it's been something that's been done in the past, whether it's a dinner or a lunch. And I just thought it'd be a great kind gesture to show of support for our teachers.
Yep, absolutely. Nicole has already queued up an order, I believe, and he's just waiting on the approval. So are there any other comments or should I take this to vote? And let me get my chat box open here. All right, so I do see a chat. I'll take a look at that link. But in regards to this, oh, thank you, Sue. Teachers really appreciate this. Thank you. Yep. So it's going to be a 1 in favor of the expenditure, 2 against. I'll just look for a majority vote on the ones. I think that's majority when I remove staff from the attendance list. So that vote passes muster. Thank you very much for participating. And so, yeah, so then Diego, I'll just email Nicole and she'll be in touch with you about details.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Like Sue said, I think it'll be very much appreciated.
Great. Thank you. All right. So moving on to Robin. Robin's update. Welcome to the group, Robin. This will be your first report to the group, I believe.
Yeah, here I am, first report. Thanks, everyone. I have crafted an email that I was working with both Sue and Lisa to share with all of the teachers and staff, just letting them know about our funding request form and how they can access that and submit their requests to us through that process. So Sue and Lisa, I'm assuming that maybe went out in terms of the email list. I know my question was about the best way to connect with the email addresses, whether I just pull everything from the web or use a staff list that they both had access to. And so I think that in the short term, it was just easier to have them pass that along. And so hopefully it's been sent out and we'll see if requests start coming in.
Great. Great. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. And as I've said in past meetings, the idea is really to be able to put faces with names and personalize the experience from faculty side toward us. All right. Anything else you want to add to that, Robin, or was that
all good to go?
Great. Any comments for Robin?
I had a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to know if there would be a way for us to streamline. So Robin, thank you. We did get your information and it did go out. But one question we had is there a way for like, you know, whether it's a Google, you know, a Google Forms, or, I mean, it would be nice if we just want to make sure that the ones that are coming in, that Diego and Brianna also have access to those, so that, I mean, sometimes, you know, we just want to make sure that everything, you know, that ones that are coming to you are also coming to us, so that it's not like double funded, or that they're the right, you know, because there's some things that teachers may ask for that really should come out of our funding. And so we just want to make sure that that's not, is there a way that we could do that? That was one question.
I think, yes. So I think the folder where the form is shared, I mean, Paul shared that with me. And so I think that that's something that's accessible to multiple people. And I just set up an alert to my personal email to get a notification of when something is submitted.
Perfect. So I think and then we probably could do that for Diego and for Brianna too then. Okay.
Well, if I may interject just a minute here, I think it's totally, absolutely a streamlining process that doesn't, you know, that sort of helps prevent double funding. I believe in the form there is an actual question: have you checked with the school yet? So when faculty fill the form out, they will be asked, well, did you seek alternate funding before coming to PTO, or did you make sure that, you know, the school wasn't going to fund this already? So that's part of the question there.
So Paul, I know that you guys have that on there, but it's been my experience. This is year number 30 for me in teaching, that even though that's on there, even asking just multiple ways, just having multiple checks and balances, sometimes just is the best policy.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely. Yep. I think, and as totally a fair statement. I think the multiple checks and balances is that when the funding request comes in,
mhm.
Robin, gets it on our docket, then it becomes part of either an email discussion or a full-on PTO meeting discussion that Diego and Anna are brought in on, and you and Sue, frankly, for that matter. I mean, everyone on the staffing side of it gets copied on the discussion. And so the long and the short of it, the response I'm giving now is yes, absolutely. Let's make sure that we are not double funding. I want to slow the process down about opening up just from the word is escaping me now, but from a sense of proprietariness, having school staff access to PTO Google Drive. That's the thing that I think that it's a good thing that it's good for there to be a bit of a firewall. So seamless is great, but frictionless, maybe just a little bit of friction to make sure that we are dotting our I's and crossing our T's. Diego, certainly, I don't want to keep you out of the discussion. I don't know if you have any comments regarding my response.
I saw Brianna unmute, so maybe she had something to say about it.
You're right, I did. I guess I would just say we don't necessarily need access. I think what would be helpful, Robin, if you could just as you set up an alert to your email, if you could set up an alert to mine and Diego's email for when the funding request comes in. And I think part of it is so if something comes through and maybe, who knows, maybe like someone checked with me and I said, oh, I don't know if we can do that or not. And then I never responded. Maybe they took that as a no, but then it comes through. And then Diego's like, oh, wait a second, we can totally fund that. Right.
Sure.
And so just so it alerts us that now they're going to the next level to get funding and just making sure. So that's, I think, what would be helpful.
That makes sense.
I personally don't need access to any of a Google Drive or anything. I think it would be helpful if you could just set up that alert for Diego and I when funding goes in, then we would just get that form in our email to see what is being asked for. It's always nice to have a heads up, say that if teachers are coming to the PTO as well, to ask for whatever it might be. So we have an idea of those pieces too. So that's what I'll say.
That sounds great. And I'm not as familiar with notifications on Google Sheets, but my assumption is you may have to set that up on your own behalf. But if it's easier, I can forward things to you as they come in so you have them right away. I mean, I can do whatever is the best fit there.
Sure. I think there's a way, and I can look at it too, just to, as a collaborator on the form itself.
Okay.
I think that you can set up a notification for every time a form comes in. So I can look at it too. I remember I did it for something and I found some information on how to do it. I would just have to find it.
Sure.
So I can dig that out and send it to you if I find it.
Because I'm signed up for myself to get the notifications, but I don't know how to set it up on your behalf. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll make sure that that is connected so that we do some checks and balances earlier rather than later as each request comes in. I think that sounds good.
Come in.
Great. Thank you for that. Thank you,
Can
Lisa.
someone knock on my door?
And thank you for the discussion around it. We'll work this process through. Any other comments and suggestions? All right, seeing none, let's go on to our communications update, and that'd be Michelle. And the floor is yours.
So, hello. So first of all, I apologize. I'm a graphics person. I am not very good with Facebook, so I'm trying to figure out Facebook. So please, I apologize in advance because there'll probably be some glitches, but the thing I wanted to let people know is we have a Bancroft Elementary PTO members group. It is literally called Bancroft Elementary PTO members group. And we've been talking about trying to make better use of the group and just trying to have it be a forum where families can communicate. It doesn't necessarily have to be PTO business, but somewhere where just another venue where families can be in touch with each other. One of the things we had talked about is setting the group to be private rather than public, just to encourage more discussion. So the plan for the group was for it to go private on October 14th. In the morning of October 14th, the group is set to go private, and then at that point, I'll start publicizing it a little more, just so we can get some more people involved in the group who want to talk about it, because right now it's a pretty silent group. So that's basically the plan. But like I said, I'm not great with Facebook, so any other ideas people have about what to do with the group, please let me know. And I'll probably we're planning on doing with the next mailer that we do, we'll probably just put a little blurb about this group in there to get people another venue for people to join. So that's pretty much it, but I'm certainly open to any ideas or feedback. But I think the first step is set the group to private and get more people to join.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Michelle, for doing the legwork on that. And yes, so just as a matter of context, we do have like a group. Our page is so much more of a broadcast out type of tool. And the group certainly could become more of a discussion and just where things can sort of occur naturally, organically, in terms of parents sharing with each other without worrying about whether or not this is the kind of thing that other people are reading. Not to say that, we're looking to have secrets or whatnot, but just so that people have the sense of privacy when they discuss things about the school. So yes, like all discussion activity is good activity. Any comments or questions for Michelle? All right. Principal DePaz, as to transition out of nothing is a secret, this is the page ahead set up for you. What would you like to reveal?
Perfect. I like the page. I like how it looks. Not very many updates. No, there's a ton going on. Obviously, we have conferences coming up next week, and so hopefully you've heard from your child's teacher and gotten an opportunity to sign up for a conference. It's a great opportunity to just check in on progress, set some goals for the remainder of the school year. You have the option as a family to choose whether you want to come in person or do it virtual. So we're set up to be able to do both ways there. There'll be the evening of Tuesday, October 19th, starting at 4:30 and running until 8 p.m. The last conference ending at 8 p.m. And then the whole entire day on Wednesday, the 20th. So it'll be 8 a.m. through 7 p.m. Will be the conferences. There's a number of things that are happening throughout that time. Also, there's the PTO sponsored readathon that's happening. There's also a book fair with books provided by Moon Palace, a local bookstore. You can also, there's a virtual option where you can browse online and purchase books online through that book fair, and there'll be books here in our media center. So if you're coming in person, you can go to the media center and browse through the selection of books. We also have a flu shot clinic that's happening that Hennepin Healthcare is putting on with us. I did in the newsletter put the wrong date, so it will not be Wednesday night, it'll be Tuesday night from 4 to 8. So you can get your family's flu shot that evening too of Tuesday. Let's see, just as a reminder too, that there's no school then on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So we have conferences and then the MEA conference days. So there's no school on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. There's a vaccine mandate that Minneapolis Public School is putting in place effective on Friday, the 15th. And so all staff need to verify their vaccination status or then be subject to weekly COVID testing. And that also includes any volunteer groups that come in or any contracted folks that come into Minneapolis Public Schools. And so that does take effect on the 15th of October. We have a site council, some upcoming dates. We have site council happening on the 28th of October. We will also have our State of the Schools presentation as part of our Title I piece, and so we'll be doing that on the 28th. There's a couple things. Homework, I think, will be one of my conversation topics, which is something we need to revisit that we have not talked about for a couple years now because of the pandemic and just the way things were going with our family activity menus. Some people referred to it as a no homework policy. That is not the case, but I do want to revisit what homework looks like and sounds like here at Bancroft. And then I think Brianna is going to talk a little bit about technology. And I know students should be bringing their things back and forth from home to school. But Brianna, this is a good time for you to talk about that piece and
Sure.
caring for your
No
tech.
problem. I don't have people knocking at my door right now. Sorry, everybody. Oh my gosh. So right now we should have second through fifth graders should all have Chromebooks. And those are to go to and from school every day. All first graders should have iPads. Those also should go to and from school every day. We've talked with students, and it's just important to make sure that you're charging those overnight, in addition to teaching things like we don't eat on our computer or around them, and not, drinking by them, and just working with ways to care for them. So, of course, if they get broken, we do everything we can to get a new computer, but we are really working hard to instill just taking care of the tech items that are being lent to all the families. For kindergarten and high five, there's been a shortage of iPads, which I would say is maybe not surprising because I feel like COVID has brought a shortage of many things. So we work to prioritize students currently who have no access to tech in the home. So really working just to set up for in the event a class needs to quarantine, making sure that every student would have access to technology. So kindergarten should be at that place now. So not every kindergartner has an iPad yet. Only students who we sent out surveys. So only students who did not respond to the survey or responded that they needed technology received iPads currently. And then we're working this week to do the same thing for our high five students. Once we continue to get more iPads in, we will disperse those to families who and students who said that they do have technology at home. So it's just our way to make sure that currently that for our kindergarten and high five classrooms, if we were to go into distance learning for a week or two, not full distance learning, I'm not trying to sound the alarms, for like a quarantine period, right? Then that students would be set up for success in that way. So we are hoping that teachers are continuing to go through like how to access Seesaw and how to access the pieces on their devices. So in the event they would need to be at home, they're able to do that. Additionally, beyond like the quarantine piece of say the whole class was to have to be quarantined, we do have students throughout the community who have had outside contact, so then themselves are quarantined, and the student work has been available on Seesaw, or some student work has. So that's just a way that students can access that as well if they're individually needing to stay home. I guess, are there questions about technology?
I do have one question with regards to the responsibilities and the behaviors that you want for students and parents to have with the technology. Are there resources, an online webpage? Are there links a parent can go to sort of understand this is where I find my child's password, for example? I mean, that kind of thing. And I mentioned it in such a way that when the Chromebook came home to us, it pretty much was just the Chromebook. And it was one of those, why do you have this? Where did this come from? There really wasn't an instruction sheet. Of course, I think that you can sort of figure that out. But for folks that maybe are not as technologically savvy and just don't understand this is how Chromebook functions, does that exist somewhere?
Yeah, there's some online resources. I think that's a good point though. And I think maybe if we could get some things printed off for conferences, and additionally, I can reshare a few different pieces with teachers with the request of going through them with their classroom as well. I think could be helpful. So there is a place online, and it's called The Source, and there are some links for families too. But I think if I was able to, I think printing some of those pieces off, I find it kind of ironic always to say like, here's how to use the tech, but go online with your tech to find out, right? I think having some of those things for conferences and such would be a good idea. So I'll get that. Thanks for the question. Any other questions regarding technology?
One thing I was curious about is my daughter's iPad got kind of not the whole screen, but kind of around the side. It got kind of shattered, and we don't know how. It was in a case, and I think it was just from going back and forth in her backpack and probably bonking against her water bottle or something. I mean, it's still usable, but I think at some point it's going to become crack enough that it'll become unusable. I mean, I understand why they're coming back and forth, but is that going to shorten the life of them?
Yep. I think so. I mean, I think I think that it would definitely shorten the life of them. I mean, we've had a lot that have come into us, broken, such as that, and we've worked to replace them. It's been a hard piece because the district also doesn't have enough cases for their iPads. And so that also makes it difficult. I know that we have, they've continued to give us more as they get them in. So yeah, I think it's difficult because we want students to have the technology at home for example, my daughter last Monday, I got a call at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night from the school nurse saying that she needed to start quarantine from her school, right? So she had her technology here. We didn't have to like go and get anything, etc. So I think that's why it's important. Then we want them at school so they can utilize the technology in the classroom at school. So I don't know. I mean, I think that we would be open to ideas and solutions in that sense, but I don't know what the best option would be, But yes, I agree that it would definitely shorten the life of them, I think.
Great, thank you for that. Is this then just sort of going back to the you mentioned making printouts regarding the resource things, and then perhaps just reinforcing the how to not crack your screen thing. Yeah, is this a task that someone on PTO could come into the school one day and just help collate or summarize in such a way, and then use that big fancy Xerox machine you got in teacher lounge and make copies? I mean, is this something that from a PTO standpoint would be easy enough to sort of take off of your hands, so it's not a big staff task? And the reason I'm asking again is this sort of, it mirrors what the discussion we had last year during pandemic, when families were sort of the ones who potted up were sort of being their own IT support, because they sort of realized they couldn't quite call the district's IT support and really get immediate. But then teachers are getting overwhelmed with becoming the IT support, that morning when they were supposed to be reading a book, right? So that was sort of that last year's tech dilemma. This is the variation of it. So how can we make it easier for you, I guess, is really my question.
I mean, I think that I appreciate that, Paul. I always would like ways to figure out how to make tech easier since this last year and few months. I think that once I get started and I can dig and see through kind of the district resources what there are, if there is some way that I could use assistance, I would definitely reach out. I guess I'm not organized quite enough yet to know exactly what that would be. So I'll do some digging and I'll let you know if that's something that we could use assistance on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The goal is to not necessarily make your workload any heavier. So if we can lighten it, but still get info out to parents, I think that's a win-win. So thank you for that. Any other questions, comments to either Diego or Brianna? I do have one real quick one, but I don't want to steal the floor from anyone else. All right, so the quick one I just sort of raised from an email, and I know this is a thing because the Star Tribune wrote about it, the whole lunch outdoor things. My assumption is that because we as a school have that nice big cafeteria with a revamped ventilation system, the lunching outdoors was really not the kind of thing that, I don't know, that we would benefit from for the effort that would need to be put in, but I'm just sort of raising that as a discussion point, considering that it's sort of crossing through other schools and has made it to the Star Tribune? If that question makes sense, that's for Diego and Brianna.
Sure, I can address it. I just thought logistically it didn't make sense for us. I mean, we have a big enough cafeteria where we're able to space the students out. We adjusted our schedule so that the cohorts, so it's just one grade level, eating with one grade level. And I don't, in Minnesota, I don't want to be dependent on the weather for anything. And so I know for me, I don't want to do something that's not sustainable. And so if I made a schedule around eating lunch outside, I mean, I can't eat lunch outside when it's raining. I can't eat lunch outside when it's snowing or, the wind chill is 5 below 0. And so for me, I think it was just to start with our schedule, get the kids into those rituals and routines, and then just keep it that way. I think for us was a much simpler solution. And yeah, we benefit from the giant space that we have in that commons cafeteria. And so for me, logistically, it just made more sense to work our schedule around that and not try and rely on something that's not reliable. And I told the kids maybe what was it, yesterday or I don't even know, someday it was a beautiful day. I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have lunch outside today. And so, maybe it's an opportunity we could have where if it's a beautiful day, we roll a couple tables out and maybe one class has a picnic outside. But I just, I think it's PTSD from having our old cafeteria where the kids, got their lunch, and none of you were here, and then they would walk outside across the courtyard into a door, down some steps, and our courtyard where our gym is now was a courtyard, it was a parking lot, was just littered with napkins and forks and spoons, and milk cartons and stuff would spill, and it would just stay there until the rain or whatever washed it away, or we were able to pick up all the stuff. So I think it's just PTSD from just the mess that created, having kids walk across the courtyard and having lunch outside.
Oh, yeah, no, I appreciate the response, Diego. And like I said, I didn't want to necessarily put words in your mouth, so I think it's great to go right to the source with the question. Thank you. All right.
I had a quick question. I don't know who might be able to answer this since Nicole's not here. Maybe I can shoot her directly a message, but I was wondering if anybody knows whether or not the book sale, like the link, if you buy, is it any book you buy if you put in like the little blurb Bancroft Elementary and the notes, like you get some money is raised for Bancroft then, or is it just select books?
That is a great segue into the readathon topic. And so this is the link. Can you see my screen? This is the link of for our school at Bancroft at Moon Palace. And as you can see, 60 products here. So it looks like it's a specific list of books. And I'm going to click on this one here, nonfiction for early readers. I haven't actually gone through the link to at the end to see what it looks like at the end of this, but does this sort of help give some info, Justin?
Yeah, it looks like it's maybe just a selection of books that count that they've chosen or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sort of my understanding too.
Oh, hang on a sec. I'm so sorry. Sorry, you guys don't. I'm Dana, and it does say all we have to do is put Bancroft Book Fair in the instruction box.
Yep.
So we can pick, it says any book on our website.
Oh, I guess that's the anywhere else here. See, it pays to read, doesn't it? Look at that.
Thanks for letting me interrupt. Super
It's
late.
a close reading right there. That's what happens when you close read.
No, that's great. I'm glad this is recorded too, because this will go to the kids. It's like, see, kids, this is why comprehension is an important skill to have. All right, so there we go. Thank you, Dana. Great contribution. Justin, great question. This link hasn't been shared out yet. We're going to share it out as part of our next communication blast. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Michelle. But yeah, so then going back to, so Justin, did that answer your question or any other comments regarding that? So then,
Yep, that answered my question. Sorry, I was in the other room there. That was my initial thoughts on reading it, but I just wanted to know if anybody could confirm that. So thank you.
Great. And so this is the meat and potatoes of what I would like to try and nail down before next weekend, I guess. We are good with readathon volunteers. So for those of you watching, and I know there's some of you here actually, so thank you very much. And Nicole will reach out to you regarding that workflow on what day that's actually going to occur. I think she says it occurs 1 or 2 days after it closes, just to get it all done. But what we're looking for now is help with the sales portion of it. And Nicole isn't here, so I'm not able to talk about what the setup or tear down times actually will be. But I can talk about Tuesday afternoon sales. I do have a doodle form that I'll share out in a communication after today's meeting. It's basically a 2-hour shift is kind of what I'm asking of folks, but really we'll take any hours people want to give, frankly. But 2 hours is a nice round number. And so Tuesday would be a shift from, I believe, 4 to 7. And so that'll be shared. Well, and then Wednesday it runs from 8 to, I think the last conference starts at 6:30. Was that right, Diego? I actually can't remember what time Wednesday's last one starts. But we just take shifts from the very beginning, from the opening of the conferences through to we end it at the beginning of the last conference. So the idea is that, people aren't lingering after conferences, they're going home. So I'm not necessarily going to ask for show of hands right now, but I am going to reach out to all of you about volunteering some time on site. And obviously, as you can see here, we've got some daytime and some evening slots to fill. Any questions regarding this? I'm going to read the chat too while I field questions. 6:30. Thank you, Brianna. Last conference starts at 6:30 on Wednesday. So we're going 8 to 6:30 on Wednesday.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Just in regards to teardown, would there be a way, and I would be willing to volunteer to help, but to do it Wednesday after sales, so start teardown at 6:30 or 6:45 Wednesday?
Yeah, I think that's a question for Nicole. We could certainly get everything. If that's the preferred thing of the school, then yeah. Then I think it's just a matter of getting packed, and then the next day someone comes and picks stuff up. It's the pickup part that I'm not unsure, that I am unsure about. But yeah, if it makes more sense to have a closing shift, tear down Wednesday evening, we can make that happen.
Okay, we can connect with Nicole too.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. We can connect with Nicole. That makes more sense to me to do the tear down on Wednesday.
All right. All right, good deal. So let's say Wednesday tear down. Any other questions or comments? And then Michelle, yeah, so it'll be part of the communication, but we'll take email Bancroft Bancroft MPLS PTO at gmail.com for folks that you want to connect with who aren't at the meeting today. Okay. Upcoming PTO projects. The next two are also Nicole's. I'm gonna skip Spiritware for a second and probably just bring it back next month. But Nicole is project lead or project manager on that one. Turkey bingo though, and I think obviously the question is events on site or in person. And so Diego, this is a question to you and Brianna, I guess, again. What do you foresee? And I know there's no crystal ball and things are all of course, subject to change, but are we working toward the idea of making that event, if we're going to skip family arts night and family math appreciation night, but make turkey bingo the event? Is that kind of the thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll just be transparent and honest with everyone. At this point, I'm not working towards having any large in-person events in our school. I think we're still seeing cases on the rise. I jinxed us last spring when I said we had 0 cases at our PTO meeting, and then the next day we had 1. We've had 0 cases in our building. I think we're one of the very few buildings that has had no positive cases. I probably just jinxed it there. But I think we've done really well. And I want to thank our families too for making sure that they're doing the health screeners at home. Understanding that if we call and your child has a runny nose and a cough, that you come and get them. And I think we've been in pretty good partnership with that piece so far. And so long story short, I'm not going to work towards any large in-person events and turkey bingo. I mean, if you've seen the pictures, we get 400 450 people, packed in our gym. And that's just not something I want to participate in or put people through right now. And so if we can think about any creative online pieces, I'm all ears for that. But I'm not going to do any giant in-person events.
Right. No, absolutely. Thank you for that answer. Were there any other questions or comments in regards to that part? I do have a follow-up, but I don't want to hog the floor again. All right, seeing none. So Diego, my follow-up is just pretty much tagging what you said. If there are any creative ideas, is there a committee or a group of staff or faculty that are sort of working towards something like this? An online thing. I think my first reaction is one of the greatest functions of our in-persons, right, was the community building part. And so is that something that the school has capacity for? Should PTO work on something of our own to sort of lead with the school? I just wanted to get a sense of where initiative might start for a replacement community building online only type thing. That's basically as general as I can get, or as specific as I can get.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a different place than we were, I think, last school year and last spring. I think with the opportunity for families to gather on the playground, to actually have a pickup and drop off where there's some of that networking that we did not have last school year, especially because we started the school year at home. And so families didn't have that opportunity to connect or to meet new families. And right now our playground is a beehive every single afternoon and every single morning, to be honest. So I feel like with the lack of the in-person events that the school is holding, I think that families have, and the ones that are able to walk their students and live in the neighborhood, I think they've made up with in the connections and the play dates and those things that are happening. And so I feel that was something that was lacking and missing last year because of the pandemic, because of us being, from home and not having that opportunity. And so I think it's kind of this give and take. And so right now, I'll be also transparent. There's not much capacity at the school level to be event planners. We're as Sue and Lisa were here. They're like the only two people that are outside of a classroom, and they've pretty much been in a classroom because of the lack of reserve teachers that have been in the district. Brianna's been teaching. I've been teaching. Hopping in when we can. And so I think there's just limited capacity to also, in all transparency, to think outside the box and think, okay, let's plan this giant event for families online and how can we do it creatively when we're also trying to plan Spanish lessons or 5th grade math lessons or things like that and jumping in to help anywhere in any way we can.
Great. Thank you, Diego. That's actually, that's great to know. And seeing that site council is yet to come, I think that a lot of the info is not yet known to us, frankly. So it's good to hear what the realities are that the faculty and staff are facing on site on campus. Any other comments and questions before I make a final note on this particular item? So what I'd like to bring to the floor, and it may not yet rise to a vote, but I think I'd like to get some direction from those who are here attending the meeting. PTO taking on the role of some kind of event planning thing for the fall, something that's celebratory and can help continue to build the community that's being built out on the playground. Is that something that PTO thinks, as from those who are in attendance, we have the capacity for? Any comments regarding that? All right, seeing none, I'm smart enough not to take it to a vote. So we're going to hold off of that, but we will, I think we're just going to continue to do some online discussion and see what we can do. Turkey Bingo certainly had a function apart from the community building part. I mean, there are a lot of turkeys that went out, so I really don't know how that's going to occur this year. But and also, Family Arts Night was the other thing, and working with the specialists to sort of showcase what they're doing. That certainly was another thing that would be well worth exploring. And maybe Diego, it's just a matter of an email out from PTO through you to specialists, for example, be like, well, how can we partner with you to help you showcase what you're doing in the classrooms? Something as simple as that. Thank you for that. Just want to bring to everyone's attention again, we are still looking for crossing guard help from, we've got a few parents have sort of volunteered. I'm Thursday morning crossing guard help. So come say hi as long as I don't have a car go into a stop sign. And then cultural family night, I'm just a quick update. We do have a couple of parents that are interested and involved. And so Diego, this was the thing where if we got enough folks to volunteer their time and their expertise, what would the process be? And I don't know if that's something that you want to hash out now, or if we would take that through an email chain, but coordinating because there are no in-person events necessarily, the crux or the focus of this would really be, I am bringing something from my cultural background into a visual arts, a visual arts day for a particular grade, and have all the kids build something that then they can showcase in the cafeteria for all the other kids to see that this came from a particular culture and this is the inspiration that the students took with it. So the obvious question is how to sort of integrate that activity into teaching and learning so that it doesn't necessarily reduce lesson plan days for teachers, but it gives them maybe a break on that one day that a parent comes in that they don't have to have a lesson plan for that particular hour. Any comments regarding that, Diego and Brianna?
Yeah, Brianna's got some comments. I won't put her on the spot. So I think, my initial thought when we had talked about this previous was, I think this is a great opportunity then to reach out to your child's teacher. If you're the particular parent who has the skill or the knowledge and wants to share something, then you could reach out and say, hey, Mrs. Nichols, I have this, how can this connect to your unit of inquiry or to your learning that's happening right now? I think bringing in Sue as the IB coordinator would be helpful too. But I think it's, to me, it's one of those, outreach pieces to even to the teacher. And then as a let's just say second grade team, they can say, oh yeah, this parent's going to come share with this. Maybe he can come on, or they can come on this day with your class and do these 2 days, and then go to your class for these next 2 days, and just kind of coordinating it that way with the teacher and Sue, and then finding a connection or a bridge to the actual unit of inquiry or what the kids are learning. And we can find connections with lots of things within our 6 units.
Okay.
And Brianna, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I saw you on mute too.
I mean, I would just say I agree with that. I think that keeping it not being like a big system actually makes there to be a lot more ease with it. So again, like if you're a parent, you want to reach out to your kid's teacher, you let them know like what you have and what you would like to share, and then work together that way. I mean, another option could be if a family member or caregiver is very interested, say, in like music, and I really want to be part of music class versus like something with the other class, they could also reach out to, say, like our music teacher, Lori, and try to work with her for a couple classes in a day or something along those lines. So I think having it really be the caregiver reach out to the teacher, I think that's the first, or Sue too can also assist with those pieces.
Great. Nope, that's good to know. So what my takeaway from this and the communication is going to go out is it'll be mostly a direct communication as long as Sue's copied. That's kind of the communication line for making an arrangement. Do you know off the top of your head what lead time is like? I mean, how is it? Are we at the point where we would be looking at a January activity rather than a November activity?
I think we can be really flexible with that.
Yeah.
Depending, yeah.
Day by day by day
We
by day.
we welcome, yeah.
Yep.
We welcome any opportunity to enrich what we're doing in school, especially through culture, and we'll figure it out. Yeah. So no need to wait if you have something sooner than later.
All right, cool. Well, then we'll get we've got 2 emails that might go out here pretty soon. All right. Any other questions or comments? Let me just read the chat while
I just see Dana's question about can kiddos come? So they would have to hang out with the crossing guard, or if you're the parent supervisor, they would hang out with you because they're school starts at 8:55 as early as they can be in the building unless they go to Minneapolis Kids. Just because we're in meetings, Tuesdays and Wednesdays for sure. And then teachers might have IEP meetings, or that's their planning and prep time too until 8:55. And I know I've also gotten a request for the corner of 13th and 39th. And then the request I've gotten too, I think is a good one just for the city in general, is to put additional stop signs on those corners, because 39th has now become kind of a more congested and busier road than it used to be. And so I think potentially a request to the city to add stop signs on both those corners of 13th and 39th and 14th and 39th, I think would be even more helpful to slow traffic and make our kids trek to school a little bit safer.
All right, that's actually great. So yeah, and then Dana, to let you know, my first day, Silas just hung out in the corner and criticized everything I did. So yeah, totally works. But anyway, and then I that's a great thing to know, Diego. I think maybe it's just a matter of I think from a PTO standpoint, we'll look at how do you facilitate the whole letter writing or getting the city to put in a stop sign. So we'll make that an effort too on our end.
And it could be action from our IB ambassadors or our kids who cross those streets. I know there's some fifth graders that cross the 39th and 13th side. So that could be definitely some action they could take.
I think there's also a connection there to Safe Routes to School programs and what might be available there in terms of resources and like how-to kits that the students could even use and rely upon to say, oh, we want to make this change. How do we do that? And using some of those tools. I have some background in that and can share some resources.
That would be great, Robin. Yeah, absolutely. Let's turn that into something. Yeah, cool. All right. So while we email offline and see what the pathway ought to be. Any other comments or questions? I think I lost control of my slide deck. Or was that the last slide? That might have been the last slide. And we're Q2, so really the last slide really would have just been new business, which I have none. Does anyone have any? I think we picked up a couple of our own new businesses already.
Dana here. I do have new business that I'd like to raise if it's appropriate to do so now. I'm sorry, this is my first PTO.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So my son has an IEP and he gets services there at Bancroft, and we are so excited about Bancroft and about the team that he has there. And I have real serious concerns about how low the staffing is and how overextended all of our teachers and staff at the school are. And so I did reach out to the SEA union that's the union for the paras, and I also reached out to the teacher union. And I just want to say I'm going to be participating in a rally tomorrow at the Davis Building to try to push for more support for our schools from the district in terms of lower caseloads, smaller class sizes. I mean, we know the district has a ton of money and they're spending it on things that are not necessarily changing the day-to-day workload for our faculty, staff, and administrators who've been working so hard this whole pandemic. And so I just wanted to let folks know that that's going on tomorrow, and I hope y'all can join us so we can try to get the support that we need, especially for our kids with IEPs and that get services there and across the entire district where staffing levels are dangerously low. And I mean that, people are talking about eating lunch outside. If you have a kiddo that has an IEP and is a runner, having them eat lunch outside is a nightmare, especially when there are so many schools without the staff that they need to support those kids. So I think it's a really big issue that perhaps it's not as big as the busing issue because it doesn't affect all students, but it certainly affects all the students in the district who have IEPs and who are getting services. So I just wanted to come here and just ask for some support, and if folks want to come down to that event tomorrow, again, I believe it's from 4 to 5:30 at the Davis Center. And I hope I'm aligned in my request with all the work that I know Diego and your team are doing. Just know that it comes with, I'm doing this out of complete support for you all. And Benji still talks about when Diego sat with him for an hour waiting for Peggy to come, right? Because she had a dentist appointment, and no one should have to come to work after having major dental work, right? But that's what our team at Bancroft does for our kids. And so, I'm going to show up tomorrow at Davis to support all of you. And I hope other parents can join me. And if anybody has questions about this issue, I also work in education, and so I'm no stranger to how some of these structures play out. And so I've been doing quite a bit of digging, and so I'm happy to talk about this with anybody if anybody has questions or want to strategize more. And that's it.
No, I just want to say thank you, Dana. I know you and I have had multiple conversations about this, and I just appreciate your continuing to advocate for students and for Bancroft. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And speaking of openings, we have an SEA opening. If anybody knows anyone, it's currently posted, so you can send any interested applicants our way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. Hey, Dana, I appreciate, that's exactly, the new business you brought is exactly the type of new business that new business should be. And then it becomes business that we take action on. So if you wouldn't mind, I'll be honest, I am not at all versed in what this is. And so if you could put some verbiage together in an email, I think when I put the update out and include this info as part of the update, I think it'd be nice for someone who understands what this is about, writing it rather than me just trying to read your words off of the transcript of this recording, for example. But is that you could do so that I can get an update out tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. That's no problem. And I'm getting some comments in the chat too. I'll put my email in the chat, although I have to confess, email is a hard way to, I'm a teacher too, so email is a hard way to get a hold of me right now, but I promise if you write like Bancroft or Minneapolis Public School or something in the chat, in the subject line, I will be sure to get that back to you. But yeah, I will get that. I'll put something together and I'll really cater it towards parents to help them understand maybe why this might be an issue that we should all care about. But just know my messaging to the district would be very different than the messaging I might give to parents in terms of like the tone. I'm a little frustrated at this point with the district, so.
No, absolutely. Makes sense. Tone and context, right? Gives meaning to the words coming out of people's mouths. And,
yes.
And it's all, and the meanings you want to give depends on the audience you're speaking to, right? So yeah, absolutely get it. So yeah, and it looks like the chat's pretty active here. Thank you for the folks in the chat regarding that. And Michelle, yeah, I think that's certainly something, if we get the right verbiage, it could be in there. But then yeah, to sort of mirror or echo what the sentiment, if Dana, if you're not yet part of the Bancroft PTO members group, I certainly invite you to become one. And then we could have that be the inaugural discussion point to see if, because there are other parents and families and caregivers in the group who might not even come to meetings necessarily, but they just follow us on Facebook. So
yeah, I've liked it. Does that make me a member?
The liking, I think, is a page, but the joining of a group is the group. So I know that's a confusing thing. So we have the page, and that's the page that we mostly use for outbound communication. But then there is, as a subset of the page, there's a group, and which you missed. You might have missed because you might not have been here. But we're taking that group and we're making it private so that it's now really a discussion forum rather than an outbound communication forum. So that parents like yourselves could just chat with other parents in our community for more specific things that might not rise to PTO necessarily, but it's still important to the families in our school.
Okay, I will find the group.
I'm posting it right now.
Thank you, Michelle. Yep, absolutely.
And if anybody needs to, you can temporarily friend me, or you can be friends with me forever, but you can temporarily friend me so I can add you to the group if need be. And I said, right now the group is public. I put in a request for it to be made private. It'll become private on October 14th.
And just for context, the reasons for that is once a group is private, it stays private. There's no switching back and forth, so that it protects the history of the group once it goes private. That's the reason why there's that delay. So thank you, Dana, for that. Any other new business?
I'll just bring up real quick, not as much new business, but I stopped by the PTO mailbox a couple of weeks ago and picked up a whole pile of thank you letters from mostly students, but a few of the teachers as well, saying thank you for the farewell fair as well as the memory books. And there's a whole bunch of them, pictures and really thoughtful images and everything, so that I would say, maybe this could be something that if we wanted to, let's see, is there a picture there? Can you see? Where are we looking at there? My hand.
We're looking at your palm. There.
There we go. There's a picture thing. So we could put those up maybe on the board. I don't know. So
Yeah, absolutely.
But I have this file, so we can be in contact. Let me know what people think.
Justin, is it possible to, do you have that, can you digitize that? I mean, do you have a scanner handy, or you want to split the pile with me and I'll digitize some, or archive live?
We can take care of that.
Yep. All right. But yeah, no, that's great. I didn't even know. I didn't know. So that's nice to know, nice to hear. And great. I mean, that was such a fun day. It was a hot day. It was also a fun day. Any other closing, any other closing comments?
I just have a quick one. So I saw that, thank you. I saw that you put the directory, you emailed the directory out, which is awesome. Thank you. So I had two questions about that. One, I noticed in what I'm pretty sure is an error in the Google Sheets, just because I'm acquainted with that family. And I'm like, wait a second, I think this is wrong. Are there ways to fix those errors? And then also, I know that not every family was able to make it to the welcome night. This could also be something that we could maybe publicize on the page, on the Facebook page, or in the email. Just I know there's some families that would probably want to be part of the directory that aren't, and some new families that have joined Bancroft since the beginning of the year. So is there a way that we can publicize that to get more people to join?
Yep, absolutely. So it's a living, breathing document, kind of like the Constitution, but not. So as people add, I will add A, and then B, because I'm the adder, it will be wrong. So yes, it can be corrected. I think in the email, I was just saying email the Bancroft email address for any corrections. So it's only going out to folks that sign up. So it's not a link that we make public. We just send it to people that join. So if you know folks, then they would need to join, and then they can get the link. And then I think, Diego, as a closing comment to the school, I know you're on the 1st and 3rd cycle for your newsletters. Is there a newsletter of the week of conferences? Because that's technically the 3rd. And if so, that's going to be the place where I'm going to make another notice regarding this family directory.
I probably won't go home that week. It'll probably go home the following week. So that throws off my 1st and 3rd, but that's only a 2-day week. So.
Yeah, no, totally good. I just needed to know for deadline. Michelle's got a couple of templates in the fire, and so we want to be able to send something home with the students, as well as get copy to you in a more timely fashion than the morning of for the newsletter itself. So, so Michelle, yeah, that'll be part of that. That'll be part of that. It'll be paper form to get people to get us digital forms.
Great. So if we were to get something to you, Principal DePaz, like Monday or Tuesday, the 25th or 26th, maybe VPAL, you and I can work on it over the MEA week and get it to you then. Would that work?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, great. Monday, Tuesday, it's a date. All right, any other comments, questions? 6:55, I'm giving you back 5 minutes of your dinner time. You can hear that mine is going. Thank you, Laura.
Sorry.
All right, I think that'll do it. Thank you very much for everyone's participation and discussion. I appreciate it. It's collaborative when we kind of take our ideas at each other like that. And I look forward to the next thing. So we'll see you all next month. We'll see you online, and like, join, subscribe. Is that what they say at the end of the videos? I think they do. This is for the sake of the people watching the recording. All right, bye. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.